Hello, this is jGazMom and welcome to my review of the Randomizer mod for Stardew Valley. I've been playing with it for over this last month and I've really been enjoying it. I will be leaving a link for the mod in the description below. Like all Stardew Valley mods, it is currently only available on PC. The Stardew Valley Randomizer is a mod for the game Stardew Valley, is created by the Twitch streamer Tushy, and uses Smappy, the Stardew modding API, to change certain features of the game. The most important alteration to the game is the randomization of community center bundles, but as I quickly discovered, much more can be changed as well. The first thing I noticed after making my character is the strange dialogue with Grandpa. According to the mod description, which I hadn't read until far after this scene, some of the text is randomized Mad Lib style. This means some of the words are categorized as nouns, verbs, or adjectives, and they are replaced randomly from a list of words in that category. Sometimes the replaced word is funny, other times it's just okay, mainly because of improper verb tense or misspelling. This same randomization is applied to the letter from Grandpa that you open in the beginning. The Mad Lib style of text randomization is not applied in any other part of the game. Because you have the option to skip this part of the game when you create a new character, it is easy to miss this feature if you don't know about it beforehand. The next thing I noticed was that some character sprites were switched. I would walk up to who I thought was Caroline, and the name and dialogue that was displayed would be Evelyn's. Not all characters switch, and it is different for each game save. It is a feature I really enjoyed for the beginning of the game, when you have the quest to meet everyone in the valley. Because of the special animations each character has, when there is a switch, often an unexpected animation of the new sprite would display. Sometimes it's hilarious, like when Penny is acting as Sam trying to do a kickflip, and it shows her repeatedly washing dishes, acting surprised, and in an evening dress. Other times, it's almost shocking, like when Emily, acting as Shane, starts levitating in the saloon. Unfortunately, sometimes there isn't an animation available for the sprite to use in a given situation. In these cases, the sprite will either disappear or there will be a strange bar in its place. This is somewhat disappointing, though not entirely unexpected. I noticed as well that when Pam's character is replaced with a different sprite, that in scenes of the bus driving your character to and from the desert, the original Pam sprite is seen in the window of the bus. If there was a way to replace the visual of the bus with one that does not show the driver, it would have made this scene much more consistent. Now, I started the beginning of the game more than a dozen times, and there are a few characters that I never saw swapped, namely Clint, Robin, Demetrius, Dwarf, and Krobus. I don't know if this is on purpose or just bad luck on my part. One important thing to remember is, when gift giving, you should give gifts based on the name of the person and not who they appear to be. Other things I quickly noticed in the game were the different seasons' forageable items being available in other seasons, the price of seeds being different, the requirements for crafting items, including the all-important chest, being randomized, and the rain having the chance of looking rather unusual. The required materials for a chest can make things easy early game, either an amount of stone or a single fish of any type. Or it could be hard, with one of the requirements being something you can't get until getting access to the mines, such as bug meat or a cave carrot. I will admit that several times I have started a new character and have deleted it right away, when the chest requirements were hard. It is also important to note that the unlocking of recipes with leveling up is also randomized. This can make it frustrating when you can't make a scarecrow for multiple seasons and have crows eating your crops. I had to save up money and buy one at an event. Similarly, the requirements for farm buildings are randomized as well. Usually, it's not too different, but sometimes there is an odd item required, such as aquamarine or earth crystal. Another quite amusing change is the possibility of your dog or cat and other purchasable barn animals to display as bears. This can be confusing if you have more than one animal that looks like a bear. I had a bear cat and a bear cow at the same time. They mooed and meowed appropriately, but it could be difficult to figure out which to milk. Additionally, I had a game in which crows were bears. It's quite surprising to exit your house in the morning, see a bear in your crops, and then see it fly away when you approach. Similarly, the sprites of crows, seagulls, squirrels, etc. were sometimes randomized so that you would see purple seagulls, white squirrels, purple crows, or even black seagulls. Though I didn't get it on film, to my knowledge, there were several times that, while it was raining, I would see a sprite that alternated half of a frog with half of a bunny. When I would approach it, it would change to a complete frog and run away. I'm pretty sure this was not an intentional part of the mod, though I could see how it might be left in just for laughs. Now, let's get into the most important part of the randomizer mod, the community center bundles. Yes, the items required in the bundles are random. The bundles themselves are randomly chosen from a list of them, so each playthrough you will have different bundles, required items, as well as randomized rewards. Some of the new bundles can be quite hard, such as ones for quality fish, or frustrating, such as one with all the totems you usually learn how to make much later in the game. Of course, there are some easy bundles as well. My favorite being the fake news bundle, which contains only soggy newspapers you can easily obtain just by fishing on your farm. There were a few items that made no sense to me, one being the addition of fiddlehead fern to a crop bundle, which I think is very unfair as you cannot grow it as a crop even in clay pots. As fun as the bundle randomization is, I found myself checking the requirements regularly, as I would forget what was required how much, or which items I had already deposited. In case you have never noticed, there is a convenient button on the inventory menu screen which allows you to review the bundles from wherever you are on the map. Thank goodness, or I would have gone crazy running to the community center all the time, or would have had to get some paper and write all the bundles down. One confusing thing is the bulletin board bundles. Some of them are still character related, though they correspond to the written name of the character and not the sprite the character shows, nor the corresponding picture with the bundle. The prices for the vault bundles also are randomized, but are still generally amounts of similar difficulty as before. In other words, you will not find an easy vault bundle of 100 gold, nor will you find one of 1 million. Instead, the previous 5,000 gold bundle may require 3,000 or 6,500. Now, with all these changes, you might be wondering, what is the same? There's a lot actually. Here's a partial list. The prices of backpack upgrades and house upgrades, tool upgrade costs, beach bridge costs, mine chest rewards, museum rewards, the schedule of events, dialogue with all the characters, and even the 2-year grandpa scene. One of the most important things to be the same is the amounts you pay if you go with Joja over the community center route. I had expected the prices there to also be randomized, but they weren't. This is really important to note since, if you happen to have the luck of having only a few other things in the game randomized, the entire game would be mostly normal if you choose Joja. This would pretty much be a waste of using the randomizer at all. If you are planning on playing with the randomizer, I have some recommendations to get the most out of your experience. First of all, change up the name of your farm. The seed used for the randomization is the name of your farm, so if you always name your farms the same, you will have the same character swaps, and so forth, each time. I recommend you do not skip festivals. Some of the funnier animations occur during festivals due to the character swaps. Because music is randomized in the game as well, I recommend playing with the music on only if you usually play the game with music. Otherwise, you won't recognize the changes at all. If you are playing one save and then switch to another or start a new character, it's important to exit the game completely first, or the previously loaded character swaps will still be active in the new file. Most importantly is to play outside your box. Because bundle requirements are random, you cannot rely on your typical gameplay strategies. Your crop bundle requirements may be easier to complete than the fishing ones. So, if you typically only fish a little, you might need to change your habits to complete the bundles. Similarly, if you try to complete the bundles in year 1, you will likely be frustrated, since some of the bundles and level up rewards may make that impossible. So, try to relax and be flexible, and you'll enjoy the mod much more. Overall, I'm happy with the randomization mod. It mixes a good amount of fresh content with some of the same basic gameplay to extend replayability. I haven't been able to explain or show all of the changes, so be sure to check out the description of the mod's contents in the link below. And don't be afraid to try it out for yourselves. I've enjoyed it and plan on playing with it for months to come.